Did you ever use the word furlough before coronavirus? Well, I bet you have now. Furlough's the buzzword as coronavirus hits businesses, and the lack of work or income means that many don't need staff at the moment or can't afford to pay them. So what's furloughing all about? Well, my name's John Davis, and in this short video I'm going to tell you. Before we start though, I should mention that you should get HR advice on the process of furloughing if you do go ahead. We can advise on the financial impacts because I own accountancy practice, but an HR advisor can help with the documentation and employment law. So, what's it mean to furlough staff? Well, the phrase comes from the government's coronavirus job retention scheme. This was announced in March by the Chancellor as one of the key measures to help the economy and protect jobs. It's recognised that businesses wouldn't be able to afford to keep all of their staff on during the lockdown, and that therefore coronavirus will lead to a lot of redundancies and a lot of unemployment. Therefore, the government decided to step in with an alternative, the furlough. Here, the employees of the company don't have to be made redundant or laid off. Instead, they can be furloughed. This means they remain an employee of the business, but they don't do any work for the company for a period of time. And during this time, the government will pay 80% of their gross pay. Now, currently, the government is committed to doing this from the 1st of March to 31st of May 2020. This will be particularly useful for those businesses that have had to close completely during the lockdown, or if other closures have caused their income to fall or stop entirely, meaning the business is unable to pay its staff from its own resources. The idea is businesses can retain their employees until the lockdown ends and then resume employment as business picks up. Now, as I said earlier, to make sure that you furlough correctly, please do take HR advice because there is a legal process to go through to make sure everything's done properly. But let's go through the steps. So firstly, is your business eligible? Now, any business with a UK payroll can claim under the Coronavirus Job Retention Scheme. This includes charities and public authorities. To do so, you just need three things. Firstly, you must have a PAYE payroll scheme that was started on or before 28th of February 2020. Secondly, you need a PAYE online account, and thirdly, you need a UK bank account. So, which employees can you furlough? Well, you can only furlough employees who are on your payroll as at 28th of February 2020. Now, this can include employees on any type of contract, including full-time, part-time, agency contracts, flexible, or 0-hour contracts. If you actually already laid somebody off, you can actually bring them back onto the payroll using the scheme as going to be backdated to 1st of March 2020. I say as long as they were actually on your payroll on the 28th. So if you laid them off after the 28th as coronavirus started to become an issue, but before the retention scheme opened, you can actually backdate it. However, anyone who's currently on statutory sick pay can't be furloughed, but you can furlough them when they return. So how do you furlough someone? Well, as I said, take appropriate advice from HR employment expert, but in simple terms, you need to look at their employment contracts. If the contracts include a layoff clause, you can make the decision to furlough someone and invoke the clause. If your employment contract does not include a layoff clause, the employee must agree to the furlough. You can't just make them do it. However, in most cases, they're likely to agree, as the alternative may well be redundancy. And what documentation do you need to keep? Well, you need appropriate letters from you to the employee signed by both parties and the date of the furlough. You're going to have to keep these letters as well for a minimum of 5 years. So how much will the government pay? Well, the government will pay 80% of an employee's gross pay for up to 3 months. The maximum they'll pay on this bit is £2,500 per month per employee. Now, for full-time salaried employees, the amount covered by the government will be based on the amount paid in the February payroll. If someone joined in the middle of February, they'll prorate it to make a full month's worth of payroll. If your employee is on a variable pay, you can pay and claim based on the higher of two things. The first is the pay in the corresponding month 1 year earlier. So if you're claiming for March 2020, you look at March 2019. Alternatively, you can actually take their average pay over the 12 months from 1st of April 2019 to 31st of March 2020. Again, if they only worked part of the year, just be average in the time that they did work for you. Now, the scheme is not intended to cover any discretionary bonuses, commissions or tips, but you can claim for regular payments you're obliged to make. So if you have compulsory commission payments you have to make, also for people on variable pay, you can include overtime worked in the corresponding month from last year or the average pay when you do that calculation. Now, the maximum claim to cover gross wages is £2,500 per month for each employee. And this is broadly based on the national average salary of about £30,000 per annum. On top of that, you can claim the employer's national insurance and any employer's pension contributions that you make up to the minimum automatic enrolment amount, either statutory amounts that you make under automatic enrolment. The government will cover these as well as the gross pay. However, the government won't cover any non-monetary benefits or any kind of benefits in kind. Similarly, they won't cover anything that's provided through a salary sacrifice scheme that reduces an employee's taxable pay. Can you pay your employees more than the 80%? Well, yes, you can. If you choose, you can top up their salary to the full amount. Now, this is optional and it doesn't affect what you reclaim from the government. So how do you claim the money back? Well, there'll be an online portal available from 20th of April. Now, one of the problems here, there will be a cash flow gap in covering the March wages, but hopefully by the time you make the April payroll, you'll be able to reclaim immediately. Now, to claim on the portal, you need a number of things. You'll need your employer PAYE reference number, the number of employees being furloughed. You'll need national insurance numbers for all those employees. You'll need obviously their names and any payroll or works numbers you might have. For your business, you'll need either your self-assessment unique taxpayer reference, or for the business a corporation tax unique taxpayer reference and registration number. You'll need actually the claim period as well, and that will need to tie in, as you can imagine, with the letters. So it's very important you get the letters dated correctly, and the amount claimed for each employee. And of course, you need your bank details and contact name and number. You'll actually calculate the claim amounts yourself, but HMRC have stated they will actually retrospectively audit a number of these claims, so please make sure you do kind of get them right and you have all the legal documents to back up your claim. Once your claim has been processed, HMRC will transfer the money into your bank account using a BACS transfer. Now, one of the big questions people are asking is about what work can your employees do while they are furloughed? Well, there's been quite a lot of confusion over this. The advice given is your employees basically can't do any work at all. They can't do anything, and to use the words is, can't do anything that generates revenue for or provides a service to the business. Basically, you can't kind of part furlough someone. It's all or nothing. They're working or they're not, which means that someone has to be fully furloughed or not at all. They can't kind of work part-time and be furloughed part-time. Now, the exceptions and what they can do are volunteer work, i.e., and that's kind of volunteering, not just for your business, or for your business can be training, so particularly online training. And there's some official wording for this. I'm actually going to kind of read the official wording if you'll allow me. So if your employee does volunteer work, a furloughed employee can take part in volunteer work if it's not provide service to or generate revenue for or on behalf of your organisation or a linked or associated organisation. Your organisation can agree to find furloughed employees new work or volunteering opportunities while on furlough if this is in line with public health guidance. And on training, again, I'll read the official words. Furloughed employees can engage in training as long as in undertaking the training, the employee does not provide services to or generate revenue for or on behalf of their organisation or a linked or associated organisation. Furloughed employees should be encouraged to undertake training. So that's the formal words. So what's the minimum length of furlough? Well, the minimum length is 3 weeks. You can then extend furloughs as appropriate. You can also re-furlough someone. So they can be off for 3 weeks, come back to work and then be furloughed again at a later date. this means you can effectively, I guess, rotate your staff on furlough. Now, a really big question we get asked a lot is, can a director be furloughed? At its simplest, yes. But it's such a big question, we've recorded actually a separate video on that because it does go into quite a lot of detail. So, assuming your staff are furloughed and you're claiming the money back, do they pay tax on their wages while they're furloughed? Well, yes. Basically, you run the payroll as normal, and PAYE and national insurance will be deducted as normal on the wages for all of your furloughed employees. To an extent, you simply run the payroll as normal with all the associated deductions to be paid over to HMRC. It's only the reclaim that will be different for you. And similarly, the flip is, do you pay tax when you actually claim the money back? Well, the grant will be included in your profit and loss account as normal, and therefore in the tax return for your business. But the wages paid are also tax deductible, and to an extent it should be equal and opposite, so the net tax effect should be zero. What happens at the end of the furlough? Well, currently the Coronavirus Job Potential Scheme is due to end on 31st of May. Now, I'm sure it will be reviewed at that point. We're sitting here today on, as you can see, the 14th of April. Looks like the lockdown will probably be extended at least another 3 weeks. If it continues, I'm sure they will revisit this and it may be extended. As I sit here today, though, the rules are that it will end on the 31st of May. And at that point, you'll need to make a decision on the future employment of your furloughed employees. So if your business returns to normal, hopefully they'll come back and continue their work for you as normal. If your business hasn't returned to normal and the roles aren't there for them, the government stated that that point is when you need to consider redundancies at that stage. And again, at that point, if that is the case, again, you need HR or employment law advice. Let's say the idea of the overall Coronavirus Job Retention Scheme and furloughing is hopefully to protect employees by giving you and your business a 3-month grace period. By the time that's over, they can come back, but it is accepted that won't be the case for everyone. So I hope you found that useful. If you have any queries, please do get in touch. And also, if you like more of our videos around helping your business get through the coronavirus crisis, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I hope to see you soon. Thank you.